Bigfoot, the Lochness Monster, and the aliens in Roswell, New Mexico. Those are all forms of a myth, but have they been debunked? I think not. Now, in this video, I'm going to share 5 common real estate myths and really get behind the fiction and the fact to help you in your process in your next home search. I find these incredibly valuable because there are folks, as I connect with, that I find believe these myths, and it's time to debunk them and get rid of them. Starting with the first one, that you need 20% down to buy a home. Now, while that is correct that you can put 20% down, and there are benefits to doing so, it's actually not required. There's multiple different loan programs, and actually I could create an entire video alone on the different types of loans that you can get in residential real estate. But I'm just gonna share real quickly the 4 basics. You have what's called conventional, you have one that is FHA, you have VA, those are for our veterans, those that have served in the US military, and then the USDA. Yes, the same USDA that certifies stakes also can get you a home loan. I know, it's crazy. Now, the stakes don't come included, by the way. So if you're hoping that you open the door and there's a lifetime supply of stakes, man, that is a dream, but it won't happen. Those are the 4 different loan types. Now, each one actually offers a variable on the down payment that you can put down, such as conventional. It can be as low as 3%. Actually, it can be as low as no money down through down payment assistance, and that is actually the same with FHA. An FHA loan generally is at 3.5% down, but you can get a down payment assistance program for no money down for down payment. Our veteran clients for VA, the VA benefit is a 0% loan. Now, you might find after talking with a loan professional that there is a benefit to putting down payment down, but you're not required. And then USDA, guess what? Just because there's no stakes in there, those loans are actually 0% as well, so they do not require a down payment. Now, they are area specific, so you'll want to make sure that you have somebody or yourself hop on the USDA website to see if the home that you're searching at is in the eligible area. It's got to be a rural area away from the city, but you'll actually be surprised where you might be thinking, okay, this isn't rural enough, and the USDA says, you got it. And so that is something that is a myth, you know, as far as having that 20% down. Now, I will share with you, when it comes to anything less than 20%, your loan may be subject to private mortgage insurance. Now, that is a term that you'll hear. You'll most likely hear the moniker PMI, and that is an additional charge in your loan payment that goes towards an insurance policy if you were ever to default that would protect your mortgager, so the person that's providing the mortgage. And loans under 20% are generally subject to that. Now, those that put 20% down or more will not have that private mortgage insurance on there, and so that might be one of those benefits of putting 20% down. Now, speaking of buying a home, myth number 2 is that a new construction home will require less repairs than an existing home. Now, that could be correct in the existing home, and when I say existing home, I'm saying anything that wasn't built that year. So a used home, I guess, is a better way to put it. We in the industry call it a resale home. So a new construction home having less repairs than an existing home. And while that might be correct, you would actually be shocked to find out that in some cases that a new construction home may have more repairs. Now, every new construction home will be subject to some sort of settling. That's just a natural process, Mother Nature. Once a house is built, it starts to settle, and as it settles, there may be cracks that come into the drywall. There may be some minor misalignments, but it's one of those things that that's just the process of a brand new home. There's also nail pops where they've had a nail that it started to fail and the drywall started to pop. out. Those all can be fixable, but they require those repairs. And so, whereas an existing home may not have that. Now, I've been a part of many what we call blue tape days at a new construction home, and have found where there are some repairs required, where there's issues in the crawl space or on the siding or up in the attic, or missing drawers or damages to certain things. And so while yes, there are maybe less repairs, there still may be some that are required. Now I'm going to share this, is that it's always important to get an inspection, no matter if you're buying new or existing, because that is going to share what you need to have repaired. Now, the third myth is that I need to sell my home before I can buy. Now, while I call that a myth, and it actually is for folks that are looking to move up, is the case where it does make more sense to sell before you buy. There are loan options that allow you to actually use the equity that has been built up in your home to purchase your next home, or there's processes where you can take out what's called a home equity line of credit to be able to provide the down payment for your next home before having to sell that. So there are different options with that you should definitely look into, because it is one of those things that, while it may be the case, and this one is really hard to debunk sometimes, because I mean, when you start to look at it from from what your personal financeability might be, it just might make more sense to sell before buying, but there are options out there to get creative. Now, the fourth one, this one might be a little controversial. It's the myth that you can get a better deal with only dealing with the seller's agent. And I know I've got family members that have told me that. They're like, Zach, I only work with the seller's agent because I know that I can get a better deal. Now, I hate to tell you this, but that is a myth. In most agreements, or at least I can speak for in the state of Washington, there's actually a section on the listing agreement with that seller that says what happens if that buyer does not have representation. This is how much you will owe me. Or if I'm going to represent both parties. That's right. In Washington, you're actually allowed to represent both parties through what's called limited dual agency. And even in that, there is a percentage that is agreed to. Now, in all my dealings with sellers, I've never seen a seller go, oh, great, I'm just gonna reduce the price because I don't have to work with another agent. Because they already know that there is a fee when a buyer's unrepresented, or if myself is representing both parties. And so while you may think you're getting a deal, you might actually not be getting a deal. And what actually might be happening is you're going through the process without representation or someone looking out for your best interests. And that is always a dangerous place to be, because that is something where a seller or a listing agent doesn't necessarily have to share about that process. They're just going to have to, they may give you documents, say, hey, please sign this. What does this mean? Well, you need to go read that and seek an attorney to get that figured out, but I can't give you any representation. And so it can feel very, very lonely. And like I said, this is very controversial, because I even have family members that tell me, hey, love you, but I only deal with the seller's agent. And I feel bad for them, because they're losing out on something so important, that is representation. All right, the fifth myth that I want to share that might be helpful for those that are looking for your first home and also thinking about getting into investment real estate. And that is that single family homes are a better deal than multifamily homes. Did you know that you could actually use residential lending and some of those down payment assistance programs on multifamily? Now, why would that be a benefit? It would be a benefit because if it's going to be your primary residence, you can actually purchase it as a primary residence and get paid to live there with the other rents for those opportunities. And a multifamily for residential is anywhere from obviously 1 unit to 4 units. Anything above that, that's actually commercial. But in residential, 1 to 4 is residential lending. And so you could buy a fourplex and actually get a better deal because your mortgage could be paid for by the rents coming in, and you have an investment property for when you're ready to move up and move out already set up and established. And so these are the 5 myths that I came up with that are common, that talking with home buyers and even home sellers that come up on a regular basis. But I would be curious to see what myths you think I should have covered, or a myth that you think should be covered in the next myth video that I'll have coming out. So go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and I'll be glad to interact with you. And remember, to really uncover and debunk a myth, it is incredibly important to get representation, to have someone look out for your best interests and share with you what is your local market doing. Real estate is a local game. Like, I cannot tell you what's happening in other states with any sort of expertise, but when we're talking about the state of Washington, I'm your guy. So feel free to reach out if you have those questions. But again, put in the comments below a myth that you'd like for me to cover. And also, if you haven't already, if this is your first time interacting with me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell button, so that way you get notified on our most recent videos that come up. And I hope that this video was tremendous value for you as you go about your knowledge journey in real estate and learning more about the process of buying or selling a home. But remember, folks, until next time, today is a great day for you to hashtag create positive change. All right, take care, everyone.